Good evening. I am Ziaur Ahmed, Coordinator South Asian Young Politician Forum. Thank you so much for joining in the conference. Tonight, I will also be joined by Dr. Kavinda Jayawardana, Member of Parliament, Sri Lanka, Ms. Shama Obaid, Organizing Secretary, Member of Foreign Affairs Committee of Bangladesh Nationalist Party, and she is graduated from the University of State, USA. Mr. Abhishek Mishra, youth leader of yeah, BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, a famous columnist and TV debater, and he is graduated from the University of London. Mr. Omar Orakchi is the president of Pakistan uh, Awami National Party, Pakistan. Mr. Muhammad Ali, senior leader of Maldivian Democratic Party. South Asia is one of the fastest growing regions in the world. It serves as a strong economic link between the East and the West. South Asian strong global connection makes it a zone of opportunity for business, trade, politics, and economic development. India's economic prominence has raised its global profile and must also navigate difficult relations with neighbors. Several challenges are being discussed like emerge of hybrid regime in Bangladesh. Sri Lanka looks likely to accelerate into fascism. India's land dispute among Nepal and China. Pakistan and Chinese economic partnership is a fact. Withdrawal of US troops from Afghanistan and Myanmar's military coup, possibility of civil war there that has created tensions for the regional politics. Agile Rohingya issue, uncertainty of vaccination in South Asia is a challenge for all. Uh, First of all, I would like to request Shama Obaid from Bangladesh. Miss, it's your floor. Miss, how the COVID-19 pandemic will affect Bangladesh politics, economy, and healthcare? Do you think the South Asian leaders could work together to face the challenges and resolve the vaccination uncertainty in the region?
Uh, Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank the South Asian Youth Leadership uh, Forum, for inviting me on this podium, and the guests that we have today with us, Mr. Abhishek Mishra, Mr. Dr. Govinda Jayavardhan. I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm getting the last name wrong, not properly pronouncing. Mr. Muhammad Ali. I welcome you all to this platform. Actually, so the question was how the COVID will affect the South Asian economy. Basically, is that what your question was, Mr. Zubair?
Yes.
Okay. So
That
first
means
of
that
all, you have arranged this time commemorating our late President Ziaur Rahman's death
40,
anniversary,
yes.
which is tomorrow, May 30th. Actually, I just finished a 5 hour long virtual meeting on that. And we had a meeting with all the districts of Bangladesh attending that meeting, because commemorating his this occasion. So since you have dedicated this program for that, for his death anniversary, I would first like to remember President Ziaur Rahman, who has been an icon in South Asian politics, internationally, nationally, and internationally. He has been was a very veteran and famous freedom fighter who has Actually, in back in 1971, during our liberation war, he has fought on the ground. His the name uh, of the thing was Z Force, where he actually led the Z Force people, and he actually during that time when the whole country was actually looking for democracy and freedom and freedom of speech. At that time, he actually declared the independence of Bangladesh, and he actually fought at that time. He of course he was an army person, as you may know or may not know. He was a major in the army, and later on, after the war, he was uh, the then president of the country, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, has selected him as the deputy chief of the army, and then he went back to his job. After the assassination of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, uh, when the country, actually Bangladesh, was going through a very rough patch, there were corruption, no freedom of speech, economy was doing really bad, and at that time, actually. President Zia rose up to the occasion, and he actually formed this Bangladesh Nationalist Party (BNP) in back in 1978, and that's when he actually, for very few years, 3.5 years, he had time, and he actually did a lot of development work for the country, economically, agriculture, garments. You know that in Bangladesh context, garments is our biggest uh, foreign currency earner. Manpower is our second most big foreign currency earner. Both of these sectors, President Zia has initiated at that time, and industrialization, agriculture, a lot of the areas that he has worked on, he had his legacy on, actually been carried on right now. So, of course, as a member of the party, my father, I would like to say a little bit about my background. My father was also a freedom fighter. He was at one point Secretary General of BNP, and we have our a strong constituency that is called Faridpur 2, which is actually we are neighbor with our present Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, just right next to her constituency. And now, at present, I am an organizing secretary of BNP. I do a lot of foreign related work and other. Since I have IT background, I do a lot of work that's needed for the party in that regard also. So that is, in short, my what I do for the party. And in this day, I thank Mr. Zubair to dedicate this program in remembering President Ziaur Rahman, and hopefully in the future, we, the young leadership in Bangladesh, would be able to carry on his legacy and his dreams and his hopes for Bangladesh and Bangladeshi people. Now, coming back to COVID, is basically 2020 was the worst year. The COVID is still continuing. We have our Indian friend here, where in India, our neighbors, our friends are suffering very badly from COVID. And last year, we have seen all over the world, COVID has been really has been an issue, and in all practical purposes, COVID has become uh, an issue of global politics as well as a diplomacy in South Asia and otherwise. So, in the countries of South Asia, the coronavirus pandemic could affect, as you know, according to World Health Organization and other NGOs, could affect more than 1.9 billion people, almost a quarter of the world's population. I'm talking about only South Asia. given the weaknesses of national healthcare systems in different countries, the fight against the virus really becomes a challenge because it is a new virus and the variant is changing every day. The economic damage that will increase the levels of poverty and inequality. Like from Bangladesh perspective, what we are facing is that this coronavirus last year has exposed the enormous corruption that has been going on in our healthcare system in last 13, 14 years. And I am not actually, I am talking not as only as a party worker, but I'm talking just as a citizen, or as a mother, because I have two kids, and it is very alarming that when we see that our patients, our people, our elderly are dying in lack of oxygen, or in lack of ICU beds, or in lack of enough treatment or CCU or ICU that's necessary for this virus. So last year we have experienced this kind of corruption, and there has been corruption on procurement of masks, procurement of PPPs and goggles and medicine. So there are all kinds of corruption that happened. And recently, very recently, Mr. Zubair definitely knows about it. That there has been news that a very renowned reporter of a very renowned uh, media has been harassed and arrested because she has been exposing the huge amount of corruption that has been going on in the healthcare. So this
Uh, Ma'am,
that is one aspect.
yeah, I will get again to you. So I think
But I can just finish my line of thought that you're gonna just 1 minute. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that we are facing Bangladesh people is facing COVID. One part it is because of lack of uh, eagerness and willingness of the present government to raise awareness among the general people. That is one problem. Another problem is that there is lack of communication and lack of partnership between the among the ministries. The different ministries has to work together to actually have a constructive outcome, or a positive outcome during this pandemic, and that's what I think we are lacking. Thank you.
thank you so much for your sharing your brilliant speech here. Now, I want to draw the attention of Mr. Omar. Mr. Omar, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me, please?
We don't hear you, Mr. Omar. Isn't it laudable? Maybe problem is on a headphone. Mr. Govindak, do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. We have lost Mr. Omar. I think he will join again, then we will get you. Uh, Mr. Govinda, military coup in Myanmar and withdrawal of US troops from Afghanistan has created mass tension in the region. There are the possibilities of civil war. How all these situations will influence on political stability, economy, and peace in the region. And what is your opinion regarding these two major issues?
Ahmed, thank you very much for having me today. I'm very much grateful to be in this platform. In fact, withdrawal of US troops from Afghanistan is a bit of a tricky situation because the US troops have been in Afghanistan for last 20 years and they have spent over 2 trillion US dollars, and The closest example that we can take is what happened in Iraq when US troops withdrew from Iraq. The destability of the politics and what has led to that country right now is I have identified that as a crisis because Islamic State has increased and then Shia Muslim, Shia and Sunni issue has increased and terrorism has increased and the democracy is in stake. So there could be a similar repercussion if when the US troops leave Afghanistan. So that's what I see one of the most important things, and this could, if the democracy is stabilized and the government, until unless otherwise the government is strong in constitutionally and given security and safety of the people and law and order. I think it's important to establish all these things, and if not, there could be a some sort of a possibility of uprising of the Taliban. So that could affect the entire region in terms of economically, socially, politically, because Afghanistan is located in a very important geopolitical station. And speaking of Myanmar, Ahmed, that is also a very important topic in terms of Myanmar after colonization. In 1962, the first coup happened, and this is completely against the democracy of the country. And as you know, in 1988, there was a huge uprising of civil movements, but which did not succeed. And only in 2015 that they were able to establish a democratic government where the issue was, I think, with the constitution. So if the constitution was strong enough, not letting the military have that power that they are having already, would have been a whole different story. In fact, what has happened to the Rohingya issue is a crisis, as most of the regional countries have to face, and I'm sure that Bangladesh, as a country, as a nation, have stood by the Rohingya refugees, and you all have taken care of them in a very humanitarian way. So I think this is a broader topic that we should discuss in terms of again social economically and politically, and most importantly regional politics. Amen.
Thank you, Govinda. Thank you so much for providing lots of information regarding this matter. Mr. Omar, what about you? Are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sure, sure.
Mr.
Thank you.
Omar,
Thank you.
first of all, you can produce any comment regarding the question that I asked to Mr. Kavinda, and you have a specific question that like to discuss. The China-Pakistan's bosom relationship is a more discussed topic, especially in the South Asian regional politics. Do you think is there any effect in geopolitics? And secondly, the young generation of Afghanistan, especially the educated young, blame Pakistan for Taliban's violent activities. They also blame for present disorder of Afghanistan. As a young politician of Pakistan, do you explain or do you think their found belief on or perception against Pakistan?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, the South Asia Young Politician Forum, for a kind invitation, and it's a moment of joyful that young politicians from across the South Asia are here and discussing the future of their respective countries. Coming back to your question, you know that most of the neighboring countries, especially India and Iran, has been blaming Pakistan for their support of Taliban. Um, to some
No,
extent, I would.
India, excuse me, India is not blaming for supporting Taliban. The young generation of Afghanistan, I have a lot of familiar young politicians and educated young in Afghanistan, they blame Pakistan that Pakistan is supporting or backing the Taliban.
Yeah, coming back to that, this is how the perception has been created against Pakistan for their support of Taliban, and this is what the youth of Afghanistan is today criticizing Pakistan for their role in supporting Taliban. So, I mean, we were the first country as hosting refugees from coming from Afghanistan. Like we had almost 3 million refugees in Pakistan, and that was the only option for Afghanistan. And after that, going back to the history, they were supported by other countries. So this is how the young the young politician of Afghanistan has been graduated mostly from Pakistan. They were awarded scholarship in Pakistan. They were they were facilitated by Pakistan, and to the thousand of youth from Afghanistan is also being facilitated by Pakistan. I will not go deep into the policy being discussed against Pakistan, but I will just highlight the role of the young politicians among the South Asian countries, because I've been traveling to multiple countries, and the same has been discussed that youth of the South Asian is not on the same platform, as it is not on the same agenda working for their respective countries. I mean, we have to go beyond what has happened in the history. We have to build our own vision, like what did Pakistan did, and what did their neighboring countries did. We need to move beyond this, and I totally agree with you. The perception against Pakistan in Afghanistan is still alive today in this era, but I cannot say anything about that in detail, but I will just say that we need to move beyond this perception.
Thank you, Mamor. But the thing is that is Pakistan don't care such perception, or isn't any headache that a generation is blaming Pakistan?
Like this is the era of economy for Pakistan. Its partnership with China, in your intro, as discussed, that Pakistan has a deep relationship with China. So Pakistan today, if Pakistan is supporting the peace talks in Afghanistan, and that cannot happen without Pakistan's close relationship with both sides, the government and the militants. Sorry, the Taliban. Because that is how Pakistan been supporting and bringing Taliban to the negotiation table, and without Pakistan, I think it will not have been happened. The perception against Pakistan in the neighboring country or in Afghanistan does not matter for Pakistan if somehow China is being supported. Pakistan and the CPEC, the great route of Obor, is coming from Pakistan towards
Okay,
Central
thank
Asian
you,
and
Omar. Thank you so
countries.
much. The matter is clear. Uh, Now I draw the attention of Mr. Muhammad Ali of Maldives. Mr. Ali, okay. Thank you so much for joining in the conference, Mr. Ali. Mr. Ali,
Yeah.
in the vaccine diplomacy, Indian Prime Minister declared the neighborhood first policy. China also was most curious to provide vaccine in South Asian countries, especially. How do you evaluate their diplomacy? Is it only to assist the people of this region, or any other political agenda behind this diplomacy?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jubair, for inviting me to this platform. I am really appreciate for your hard work regarding our regional politics. First of all, when we looking into the the country where we don't have any resources other than just tourism, the country is totally based on tourism, and a small amount of percentage is contributing to fishing. we have no other resources to have income to feed our people. So since the current government came to the power in the year 2018, we were having a lot of troubles for the foreign policies that has implemented by the last presidencies. So our party's president, Mr. Solih, has taken to through the side of India. Actually, the country is totally depending, not depending to a specific power in the region as well as world. Previously, we were as a non-violence movement since 90s. So when we consider to this pandemic, actually both countries, China as well as India, offered to help us. In one way, we were stuck in between these two giant countries because we were having our governments borrowing money from China, especially for the past
Mr. Ali,
7 years.
Mr. Ali, I am not talking about only for Maldives, but I am also talking about the South Asian countries.
Yeah, first of all, I'm just trying to explain about our country. So this means, these vaccines are distributed not the sake of saving lives, I think, by the superpowers, just to have earn something from the people who are affected by this pandemic. And thankfully, I really thank both the countries, especially China as well as uh, India, for providing us vaccines since their citizens are suffering from this. And now currently we are having 30% of our population is given second dose of vaccine, which is given granted by Indian government. Covishield vaccines are given, and the first dose almost has completed around one third of the population. So right now we are in a surge of our a third surge, where a lot of people are dying. Almost nearly 200 people are dead now, and we are hugely affected. Even currently, I am in quarantine, and we are not able to go out after 4 p.m. So we need help from our neighboring countries, especially the two giant countries, China as well as India. Our foreign policies are actually uh, going to have friendships with all the countries, especially SAARC countries like India, Bangladesh, China, Pakistan. And these countries, without them, we can't live, because we have nothing at all to have. Even we don't have nothing to feed our children without the help of these countries. We are totally dependent on the tourism. If this pandemic goes for next 2 years, surely we will die. So our government is very closely having relationship with all the countries, even though the other than the Asia. So we are considering our neighbors, and we will continue with this international relationship with our countries. So I really thank you. Thanks to our neighboring countries, especially India. Before this surge, they offered to actually to provide their donation to give the whole population of the Maldives. We are not more than 400,000. So India, for India, it is nothing to give vaccines, to provide vaccines to Maldives. But due to their situation, they are unable to provide vaccine to abroad. They are banned now. So we are suffering a lot now.
Okay, Mr. Ali, but so far as I know, your country is looking the assistance of USA beside China and India. This thing's fantastic, and it's the demand of the time, because you have to need to save your people. Thank you so much, Mr. Ali. Uh, Mr. Abhishek. Mr. Abhishek, there is no shared concept of regional security in South Asia. Distrust is quite common among the states of South Asia. Major conflicts are between Pakistan and India. Their security is mainly against each other. The absence of a shared view of regional security has been the major obstacle to increase the effectiveness of South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation (SARC). What is your opinion?
See, you have to understand one thing first. Currently, at least, there is a slight peace between India and Pakistan. Currently, as a nation, we in India are primarily focused on the COVID issue because we have faced the worst in the world. In fact, what has happened to our citizens, it has been so painful. Even our Prime Minister was in tears that day. I think every village of India, everybody I speak to, they have said that at least some, either two, three of the relatives, something has happened. Either they have been admitted or one or two have died. So right now, our priority is COVID to save our citizens and to provide vaccination at the earliest to them. Now, with regards to and second point, in our security, establishment, our think tanks, our military, our government policies, our enemy number one currently is China. You have to understand that. Pakistan is a foe, that is true. Pakistan is an enemy for India, which is also a fact. We as young politicians, we should not look away from the truth. Truth is, Pakistan in India is considered an enemy. You have to understand that. It is not a hostile power. It is an enemy. My Umer Orkezi will recognize the fact. We have to see the truth first. Only by seeing the truth can we work towards peace. We cannot be hostage. We cannot hide our heads in the sand. Today in India, 99% of citizens, they consider Pakistan as enemy. Maybe 20, 30 years ago, maybe we didn't consider citizen to citizen ties. We had cricket matches, we had games. Now there's no one, you cannot dream of a India-Pakistan cricket match. Am I right, Omar? So it has come to a level. So Pakistan is our enemy and people are not bothered. They say, okay, what to do? It's an enemy. With China, China is a threat to us. China today is where our whole might, military, security, intelligence apparatus might is coming. How to, counter China, because China is very aggressive on it has tried in Doklam, it has tried in the Pangong Lake. We have had last year 20 of our soldiers died, even many Chinese died. So with Pakistan, there is a lull right now. It's a peace. It's a peace not because we are trying to be friends. It's because our established consider them an enemy and they don't want to do anything in Pakistan today. Our priority is on China. So this is the reality of India today. We are focused on countering China. With Pakistan, there is a peace, but peace because we know we are enemies and we don't want to talk to each other. That's the first part. Yeah. Further question you can ask.
Abhishek, I have an observation that BJP's negative rhetoric against the eastern neighbor, that means Bangladesh, including during the ongoing election, that means in West Bengal, whenever the election was held, has aggravated and pre-existing anti-Indian sentiment in Bangladesh. That means Mr. What's the name of the US president? Amit Shah. He remarked very negatively about Bangladeshi, that Bangladeshi go to India because of their livelihood, something like this. What is wrong with Mr. Rai?
No, first, see, Amit Shah ji is the Home Minister of India. I will not comment on Amit Shah ji. He is our second biggest leader also. He is a Home Minister also. So I, as a BJP person, first have to say that if Amit Shah ji has said something, he must have said something out of wisdom. So I will not comment on him. I cannot comment on him. I don't. I am not in a position to comment on Amit Shah ji. But coming as a youth leader, what I can comment is, we, India and Bangladesh, we both have to focus on economics. Bangladesh, I very much appreciate. I think few days back, you have got GDP per capita higher than India. It became $2,227 compared to us. So I was speaking to, I think, the Australian High Commission people in India. We were having a discussion. I told them, see, it's a very strange thing. Bangladesh has overtaken us today in GDP, per capita GDP. Some reason could be COVID and other issues in India we are facing. But for Bangladesh, it's a big achievement. You have managed to become the garment manufacturer of the world. You have managed to increase the GDP to this extent. Though Ms. Shama Obaid has objection to the way the ruling party in Bangladesh is working with the corruption, etc. That's an internal issue of Bangladesh. But From outside Bangladesh, we understand that your GDP is growing. And we in India, our prime minister is to focus on our economy. So I will say one thing, I agree. India and Bangladesh must not fight. India and Bangladesh are two powerful countries of South Asia. Both have to be economically forward looking. Both have to rise higher economy. We have to raise the poor people to more wealth. We have to increase the per capita GDP. So we don't have to fight. India and Bangladesh have no defense, security, no issue whatsoever. We are both committed to economic growth, and that should be our priority. Amit Shah ji, what he has said, he must have said out of wisdom. He is the home minister of the country, and as a youth leader, I'm saying we both have to work together for growth in GDP.
Okay, Mr. Abhishek, thank you so much for your brilliant speech. Mr. Omar, do you have any remark regarding Mr. Abhishek's speech?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, just what Abhishek has said and what Muhammad Ali has said, and why we six of us are here. Um, we need to give a message to the world that we, as a South Asian countries, need to move forward. As said by Abhishek, that it's a era of economy. We need to boost our economy. We don't need to, um, um, in the pandemic, since like back from 2020 March, we have been fighting all this thing. But unfortunately, we as a countries have not been able to produce a vaccine, and India did, but we have not did. Still yet, we are looking towards the other countries. And we
Okay.
as a young leaders, we have to think
Omar, I
that.
will back to you. I need to go, Mr. Shama Abhay.
Sure.
Okay. Ma'am, do you have any comment regarding all the speakers' speech?
Yeah, I think we have come up to a very interesting topic. Basically, personally, I think that as South Asian citizens and as young leaderships, we need to look beyond history. That is the first thing. We need to contain history. We need to respect it, but we have to go beyond it. And as I 100% agree with Mr. Abhishek and Mr. Omar when they say that diplomacy now, in this global age, diplomacy 100% depends on economy, trade, and who has power over who, and security. Basically, that are the main factors that the governments or the regions look at when now as far as the diplomacy goes. We, the South Asian people, see, you just asked somebody a few minutes ago the COVID politics. Now, COVID vaccine, who will take vaccine from which country has become a diplomacy. Now, am I using a Russian vaccine? Am I using a Chinese vaccine? Am I using an Indian vaccine? That has become a diplomacy. So that is something, a new quotient, a new factor has been added to the present political situation or diplomatic situation. In addition to that, if we talk about the bigger picture, like we have the Indo-Pacific strategy on one side, and that again we have the Chinese One Belt One Road strategy on another side. So, and there are countries divided. So I think the South Asian, like for example, Quad. A few weeks ago, I think there was a Chinese representative in Bangladesh, an Indian representative in Bangladesh, an American representative in Bangladesh, and they were all trying to talk about Quad. And Quad is sort of like a security thing that comprises of USA, Japan, India, and Australia, and they are trying to actually have a counter uh, a platform to One Belt, One Road strategy. So South Asian people, I think we should take advantage of everything. We are still, like, Bangladesh is still a developing country. Of course, our GDP has grown. We have lot of entrepreneurs. Our people are doing better. That is no doubt. But when you talk about when we the problem I see is the rich is getting richer, the poor is getting poorer. So the difference is getting bigger. So we as South Asians, we need to work together. We need to take advantage of look at of Chinese economy, of Indian economy, and all the neighbors around us.
Ma'am,
I am naming I'm naming
ma'am,
China and India because these are the two major. I mean, China wants to be the big boss of this region, and as well as India. So I'm taking these two names, but Bangladesh, strategically, geographically speaking, and if you talk about the Bay of Bengal, Bangladesh is also a very important country for all of them. So that is taking that into account. I think that like for example, Mr. Imran Khan called our prime minister a few months ago because of COVID, or he wanted to inquire how things are changing. When Mr. Manmohan Singh was sick, Mr. Imran Khan gave him a call. So things we have to look beyond history. Of course, we had back in 1971, we fought with Pakistani armies, no doubt about it. And India has helped us tremendously. That is history. But if you think about Vietnam War, after Vietnam War happened, the whole Vietnam was developed by US money. So we have to go beyond the problems that we had 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, and we need to think about our generation and the future generation. And if we have to do that, we need to go beyond just animosity. Because just talking about I want to tell Mr. Abhishek, because when I was doing my undergrad in California, I had lot of Indian and Pakistani friends sitting together and having fun and having lunch and having dinner. But it's outside the country, right? So when you are inside the country, Pakistan is my biggest enemy, or India is my biggest enemy. So that is something that we have to change our psyche. We have to think practically. We have to think that economically, as a nationalist point of view, what is good for my country, I should do that. I think that is the strategy every South Asian country should take. Thanks.
Ma'am, I have a specific question to you that Bangladesh's dilemma of whether or not to join the Quad Security Initiative, which possibly is also a means for Washington and New Delhi to offset China's growing influence in the region, is a
Yeah.
shift to disturbance, feathers, and to battleground for geopolitical competition to unfold. Your
It is
opinion, please.
a battleground. It can easily become a battleground for geopolitical politics on this part of the region. So I think if you notice carefully, the South Asian countries actually are being cautious about making any direct comment or statement on this Quad issue. I think everybody is right, sort of observing what will happen in the future. What is the future of Quad? Like for example, President Ziaur Rahman have created SARC, right? And he had the vision that the South Asian countries should be working together. And later on, Afghanistan was also added to the SARC countries. And recently, I've seen that Mr. Modi have taken an initiative last year, having a meeting with all the SARC country heads, right, to raise fund for COVID. So you never know which platform you will need at what crisis. So I think it is too early to comment on Quad. And I think it is, as I said earlier, all the Quad countries, all of them have funds, they have their funds invested in the South Asian countries. So I think we should watch and see what happens with Quad, and we should take advantage of Quad, not not actually negate it or say anything about it abruptly at the moment. And as a foreign committee member, I can't really say anything at the moment. So I should be as a country. I think Bangladesh is also observing, because I've seen that recently there was a Chinese delegation in Bangladesh who actually sort of talked to Bangladeshi government about Quad, and they expressed explicitly that they would not like it if Bangladesh joined Quad or supported Quad. So I think if for any government, whether it's the present government or any other government, it's a very tricky situation, and for a democratic country, we should watch and see, and we should take advantage of the fullest with the in the best platform possible.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Muhammad Ali, can you hear me? Muhammad Ali, do you have any comment regarding the discussion?
Yeah,
If you do have any
actually,
comment, then you
I
can.
I want to add something. Rather than all other countries in the SAC, we are somewhat different because we haven't fought with any other countries, rest of the countries around the region. We are just like an innocent boy. So, from the beginning, we are having a very good relationship with all the countries around us. But
This is the
due to some reason,
great diplomacy.
yeah, but somehow the previous government has a very close relationship with the Chinese. Because of that relationship, our the most closest country and the strongest country, India, has argument. Because of these two diplomatic problems, we are really stuck with this. Very recently there is an ongoing problem. The Indian government has decided to build a consulate in our one of the atoll. Due to that, the opposition party is raising, you know in between in this difficult situation, the government is already in a position of nowhere to run, because somehow we had a good diplomacy with the India, and India is helping to us develop our country, as well as in China is also. But
Mr. Ali, it has been said that your present government is backed by India.
no, not really. I'm not really fluent with this the higher politics, but I'm a beginner. I am a student of politics, so I can't say like that. Any government will have a foreign policy with some other countries. I may not know whether they had funded or they had helped to come to the power.
Mr. Ali, can you hear me? Uh, Most probably Mr. Ali is out of network. Dr. Govinda, do you have any comment?
Yeah, Ahmed, I think the conversation has gone to a very important topic where the in Chinese involvement in the region. I think one of the most influence countries here in Sri Lanka is China by now. As you know that China has acquired the port city project where China Harbour has invested in it, and acres of acres land has been given to Chinese companies to develop. And not only that, for 99 years, Hambantota port has been leased to China. So I think the one road project is ongoing. So as most of the leaders here mentioned that we have to think about the regional politics. As Asian countries, as SAARC countries, we have to be stronger because it's very important. India, Pakistan, Maldives, Bangladesh, we all as SAARC countries it's important that we have a stronger diplomacy in terms of other countries coming and getting them involved in small countries like Sri Lanka, especially local politics, that they have influence in local politics. In Sri Lanka, we experience that, and the current government is pro-China, so there is so much of influence.
Mr. Govinda, let me add a thing to your discussion that you must notice that the tendency of autocratic form of hybrid regime government in this subcontinent, especially, they're undermining the people.
Yeah,
Can you
that's what I
notice
was.
this thing?
I'll come to that. So one of the key things that what we have been noticing lately, in fact, India stepping in with the vaccines, and very recently Bangladesh, in fact, gave us a soft loan for 200 million US dollars. As you know that the Bangladeshi economy is growing. You have foreign reserves of 48 billion dollars. So what I was trying to say is that as a region, we have to be much more stronger in terms of our relationships. As that's something that what I think that we should do in the future. And about autocracy, definitely that is something that what has been happening without knowingly or not knowingly, because when the democracy is reducing, the powers of democracy is reducing, the autocracy will take over eventually. Then authoritative leaders will become more powerful. It's happening. Now, right now it's very easy to do constitutional changes and reduce the freedom of people by constitution. So therefore, the autocracy can be through autocracy can be control the people's freedom. So I have experienced that here in Sri Lanka with the 20th Amendment. Especially implementing of 20th Amendment, independence commissions have been withdrawn, like police commission, election commission, likewise, and restrictions for social media, electronic media, printing media, and increasing militarization. That is also something that you see in autocracy, and especially talking of Sri Lanka, the government have been postponing elections like provincial council elections. We were supposed to have provincial council long before, which has been upheld and postponed. And of course, human rights violations. And here in Sri Lanka, the Human Rights Commission have so many issues. So then there are issues of people where to complain when there are human rights violation, and politicization of government organizations and government services, and religious nationalism is something that around the region what we experience, something that we should be concerned of, and racism and suppression of opposition political parties. So these are the things that I think we should look into more, especially here in Sri Lanka.
Mr.
And,
Govinda, can you notice that the policy of divide the nation or the race or in terms or in number of religion, that is the autocratic governments, they are dividing the country in different terms, and this seems very easier for them to rule the country.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of divide and rule is something that some of the governments and political parties follow, but the crisis is not that. The crisis, what I see, is that political parties to come to power, that they divide the society, they divide the religion, they divide ethnicities, they create racism. So we, as Sri Lankans, have experienced 30 years of war, and we have come out of war. But unfortunately, still the reconciliation, accountability, transparency is yet in terms of poor applying these concerns. So I think we should as young leaders concentrate in all these things. Here in Sri Lanka, as a young leader, I think we should definitely look into reconciliation and accountability.
Okay. Ms. Ubaid, do you have any comment regarding this issue? If you don't have any comment, I will go for Abhishek.
No, I think
I I don't have any. I don't have a big thing to say, but I just want to reiterate what you actually asked, Mr. Dr. Govinda, is that yeah, hybrid regimes are now actually becoming a fashion. It's not only in South Asia. You see, beyond South Asia, I mean, there are autocratic governments in forms of democracy. So that is what is in Bangladesh now. So I would and basically we have actually lost. We have actually lost so much. Like our Mr. Abhishek is here, and India is the largest democracy in the world, and we our South Asian people, we are very resilient. We don't actually listen. We have our own opinions. Like in Bangladesh or in India or in Pakistan, we will a wife will not listen to her husband when she goes out to vote. She will vote whichever whoever she wants to vote for. But strategically and unfortunately in Bangladesh, this electoral process has been destroyed. People can't vote anymore. So this hybrid regime has, and if you see data, if you see last data in last 5 years
Yes,
in
okay.
US.
I will come to you
Okay,
this
fine.
specific question. Just I go to Abhishek. Mr. Abhishek, you work in the policy level area. So I have a question that related with policy actually. Nationally or internationally, it is being discussed that India's aspiration to be global leader is merely a dream. It also said by the Congress because India even failed to lead the region properly. Say, for example, without Bangladesh and Maldives, India has no influence rest of the regional countries. And how do you explain the scenario?
See, first of all, you have to understand when has India as a policy said that we want to lead the SARC? We have not said that. We want to develop our own country. We are not here to be America, first of all. Our priority is not to become America, not to be the boss. We are not China. We don't want to rule. We don't want to rule. We don't want to conquer. No. We are a simple democratic country which wants to empower its citizens, wants to bring poor people to middle class,
Is it is
middle
it your
class to upper
is
class.
it the policy of India right now that not to
Yes,
rule or not to lead
yes,
the
India from the time of Jawaharlal Nehru to Narendra Modi ji, we have never said we want to lead. We have always said we want to partner, we want to support. We have never said we don't want to lead Bangladesh, we don't want to lead Nepal. We want to partner, we want to support, we want to engage. We want to work together, we want to go ahead together. So, first of all, we have never said that we want to lead. We want to partner, we want to engage, we want to support. Secondly, now you said that only in Maldives and you said Bangladesh we have good relation. I would not agree with that. I think except Pakistan, because Pakistan, as I said, that there have been efforts at peace, but I tell you the general sentiment is the 99% of the people consider it to be enemy. So the bureaucrats, the leaders, they have very little space left here. In fact, the last time when our Prime Minister earlier for BJP, Mr. Vajpayee, he had gone to Pakistan. That was the last time where there was a chance. But after that, Pakistan came to Kargil, did war with us. So now in Indian psyche, next 20, 30 years, I don't see any hope of peace with Pakistan. And our government is not even interested right now in any engagement. We have not even want to do a dialogue. So we don't want to lead. Except Pakistan, I think we have good relation with. I think in Sri Lanka also we have a good relation. Yes, China is trying to corner Sri Lanka. China is trying to strangulate Sri Lanka. China is trying to make Sri Lanka dependent. Whereas Sri Lanka, because of its good location, from the Navy's perspective, Sri Lanka is one of the best places in the world to be. It is near the sea, isolated at the big ports. Sri Lanka can grow very fast. As Bangladesh also, as Ms. Shoma Abed said, it is right at the Bay of Bengal today. When one of our ministers was having a meeting with big companies, I should know this, Shobha Abedji. Our minister, the minister for this inland and waterways, seaways, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, he's one of our main cabinet ministers. He was having a meeting with all big companies. I was sitting in that hotel room. I also was present unofficially. and everybody was saying that please do something in Bangladesh because of we have to spend so much money. It has to go routing through Kolkata. They were it was beyond me to understand. They were speaking about ports and all that, and they were saying that please, if through Bangladesh it will be cheaper. So Bangladesh, every corporate company understands it is a brilliant location for trade, for shipping, for storage. So China, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, these countries don't need China. In fact, they should partner China, but not be dependent on China. God has already given, nature has gifted them sea, ports, beauty, nature, tourism, everything. So I think we don't want to lead anybody. We are partners, and we have good relation with everybody except Pakistan. Yeah.
Thank you, Abhishek, for your policy, because you work in the policy level area, so your speech is most like to policy. Thank you so much. Uh, we are in the uh, last position, and I don't have any question, especially a specific question. Just I will give 2 or 3 minutes to everyone uh, to make any comment or to clarify anything or to do anything or to say anything about the title of this program, the contemporary regional politics. First of all, I would like to request Mr. Muhammad Ali. Just two
Yeah,
minutes. Please.
yeah. Thank you, Mr. Jubair, for inviting me. As I said earlier, but I just want to say something in between our with these regional young politicians who are going to be attached with somehow in near future. Actually, the countries has a specific uniqueness in each and every country. When we consider to Maldives, as I have described earlier, I think the members who are in this conference knows very much about Maldives. We need helps from so many things in different areas. Strategically, we are in a very good position where China has started to grow a Silk Route from Russia all over to Africa. So the government policies, because of the government policies, we are having sort of difficulties by uh, difficulties because of the previous and future governments. So we have to make balance this. Uh, though we
Okay,
create our
Mr. Ali. Okay, Mr. Ali,
own
thank you so much. We will
okay.
discuss another day regarding this issue. Mr. Omar, it's your floor.
Yeah. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, so um, as discussed by the France, that what I need to comment is we need to move forward. I mean, when I travel to Europe, I see the European Union is very strong, and I see the Middle East, I see the Central Asian countries, I see the ASEAN. But unfortunately, when we come to SARC, that is, I see that we are not very much engaged and we're not very much active. We need to, as a future of these countries.
Not active in his field.
I mean, we are not. SARC is not being very much active and is not very much cooperative with each others. We have a lot of hates to each other. Honestly speaking, let's move beyond that. Let's play the friends goal now. Let's work on developing the region. Let's work for for having something for our own generation. Like in Pakistan, there are like 25 million children out of school. If For me as a policy expert, those children coming back to their workplaces, they have nothing. They are unskilled laborers. So we need to first thing, we need to work on our own economy and improve the infrastructure of our own countries. Let's play something French friend. Let's I think we have played a lot of hates and enemy, but let's play something good for this nation, and this is how we will move beyond. And I would like and I would request you to engage this platform, the Asian political South Asian political leaders. I mean, you need to make more active effective. It will be have loved if we had participation from Afghanistan, from Bhutan, from other countries. So that will put something more actively role in their participation.
Okay, Mr. Amar. Mr. Abhishek.
I'm saying I have said most of the things already in my earlier two statements I made. If one thing I have to add, I will say that economics. As Umair said, we should discuss about peace. But what happens is, just as Pakistan military, ISI is there can be no peace. So what I'm saying is, the way forward is economics. Each country, let us focus on our own economy. Let us grow our people. Let us grow our people out of poverty. If that is the way out, 10, 20, 30 years of focusing on economy, automatically peace will come where everybody will be focused on improving themselves. And I saw one thing when I was listening to Dr. Kavinda and Shama Abed and Muhammad Ali. Again, the mention that India, China are the two big bosses, superpower. I think this mentality has to go. In fact, in India, in all our big conclave discussions, I always say one thing. I always say one thing. Sweden is a country of only 10 million, 1 crore people, much less than Bangladesh, much less than Sri Lanka. Sweden has 8 companies which are global. Volvo, Saab, Spotify, ABB. So that is the power. A small country like Finland, 40 lakh, 4 million people can make Nokia, Samsung. So you have to understand, get the size out of the brain. We are a small country, India is big country, China. No. Which country can make its citizens productive? A Sweden of 10 million has 9 to 10 global corporates which are top 3 in their fields. So Volvo is top, IKEA is top, Saab is top. That should be our motivation. Stop this 19th century ideology. How big is that? I am small, big, small. China is big, India is big, brother. No, all our countries, all our citizens, all our human beings, all want to grow, and we should think of improving ourselves. Forget big, small. A small country with focus on economy can, a Britain of hardly 440 million people rule the entire Asia. So small, big should be taken out. Growth, focus, teamwork. That should be a priority.
Yes, Abhishek, it's very good news for India that India is trying to be like in technology with Tel Aviv and San Francisco. It's a very good news for India that they're trying to be like them. Dr. Kavinda. Dr. Kavinda. Oh, he has the internet problem.
Yeah.
Dr. Kavinda? Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
The last remark.
Yeah, Ahmed, thank you so much for having me here today at your program. It was very productive. And I must agree with Umar, especially the SAARC countries, as brothers, that we should work together and we should help each other, because it's very important. We are in a very critical situation with this pandemic. This pandemic have taught us so much. So as humans, we have to grow. And I agree with Abhishek also. I think we should get this thought of small or big country, but the issue is that most of the countries in Asia are finding it difficult financially and politically to survive. That is the issue. So I think if we can be stronger as a region, there won't be any other foreign countries coming in and getting into regional politics. So I think it's important, as young leaders, we all come in the same platform and same understanding and work together for the future of our region. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kavinda. I have a relation with Mr. Kavinda because we are in the same batch of fellowship in Conrad Adenauer. So I have a previous relation with Mr. Kavinda. Ms. Shama.
Well, in my closing remarks, I just want to say that I think this kind of dialogues, this South Asian platform for us to speak and share our views is a start for betterment of people to people relationship in our region. That is more important. And when Mr. Abhishek is talking about Sweden and Finland, which is I agree, but you have to also keep in mind that those countries have the basic things in place. They have democracy in place, they have human rights in place, they have humanity in place. So af- after you have and they have systems that are in place that works automatically, no matter which party or which government is running the country, you know. So that is what is lacking in South Asia. Sometimes we fight among each other. We need to develop people to people relationship, country to country relationship. I don't want to make a negative comment, but there is a perception that like the Indian India is more close to a particular political party in Bangladesh, but not the people of Bangladesh. And this is not, and I'm again saying it's a perception. So in politics, as we all are in politics, perception is reality, you know. So that is something that we need to work on in future. And also we need to think positively and do positive politics. It is not about who is big, who is small, but what will benefit the SARC region, what initiatives will benefit the SARC region. So that things from our point of view, from a youth point of view, we should be thinking about humanity, about democracy, about economy, and we should be working together. Thank you.
Okay, I think Abhishek has noted the issue that has mentioned by Shama.
No,
Mr.
no.
Abhishek, have you
Yeah,
noted
she
the
had,
issue?
yeah, yeah, about that one closeness to one party. That's the question.
Okay, just note it down, nothing else.
I
He
know.
just wants you. He just wants you to note it down. Yeah. He just no
No,
remarks
I said,
needed.
no, no. Shamaji, one line. Should I tell you honestly? Should I tell you honestly?
Yeah. Please.
I'll be honest with you. See, you have to understand one thing. It is not one politics. I think that is your view. The real issue, I think, which we have to improve people-to-people ties is among a large section of our population, Bangladeshi migration into India, illegal migration. How, as you said, how much is reality, how much is perception, but perception is truth. So that perception is the real issue here. 80% of the people I know personally, and among the general, I travel so much at every state, and that is a real perception in the people, and some of it may be true also because of our statistics of the government. So you have to understand that is the real problem, not one about Bangladesh itself. The image is that they are sending illegal migrants into India, and there we have to work. We have to work for 10, 20
Okay,
years to
Mr.
solve
Abhishek, thank you so much.
Right.
Across the
Right.
South Asian capitals, intense inquiry will be trained on Washington, D.C. to see how President Joe Biden's administration approaches the region. The United States advanced more meaningful engagement with South Asia on its own terms, and its strategy is shaped by a narrower desire to counter China's growing power. South Asia's almost 2 billion people, the need for human capable governance, domestic, regional, and global, is immediate and imperative. Thank you again to join in the conference and deliver brilliant speeches. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Good night.
Night.